If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again. And two of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com. Let's face it, you can't trust Big Pharma. They've already tried to block ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and raise prices on everything from antibiotics to your daily meds. Well, there's good news. All Family Pharmacy is standing up for medical freedom and helping people get the treatments they actually want. My family and I use them all the time. They made it easy and affordable without the runaround. While other pharmacies are jacking up prices, they've actually dropped theirs. Ivermectin now starts at just $2 a capsule. Use my promo code Lindell10, you get an extra 10% off of that. You need ivermectin, antibiotics, or methylene blue, you name it, they've got it. They make it simple. You fill out a short online form, a licensed doctor reviews it, and your meds ship fast right to your front door. If you want to be prepared and have your medications on hand, this is your new pharmacy. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code Lindell10 saves you even more. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code Lindell10. The last time President Trump was in office, gold soared 50% and silver went up a huge 53%. Americans who invested in silver and gold during Donald Trump's first presidency are very happy that they did it. And right now, gold continues to soar to the highest numbers in history. These gains are just an appetizer for what's to come. Some market analysis are saying that gold is predicted to rise another 30% in the next year alone. So now's the time to invest in gold and silver, and that's why I partnered with Fisher Liberty Gold. Fisher Liberty Gold is a conservative-owned and operated precious metals investment company. They even helped my good friend President Trump get elected through their contributions to Turning Point USA and other conservative groups. I have dedicated my life to ensuring that people get the best sleep ever. And in addition to owning a MyPillow, I can now sleep well at night knowing that you can all protect your savings with precious metals with Fisher Liberty Gold. With Fisher Liberty Gold, you can sleep well knowing that your retirement is secure. And if you call now, you're going to receive your very own presidential gold guide and qualify for up to $20,000 in free silver. But wait, there's more. Call now or text metals to 26786 to receive your presidential gold guide from Fisher Liberty. And for a limited time, I will send you a free My Pillow for qualified accounts. This presidential gold guide from Fisher Liberty will tell you exactly why you need to own gold even while Donald Trump is president. And just by calling in, you get a free My Pillow for a limited time for qualified accounts and up to $20,000 in free silver. So don't wait. Call 1-888-4GOLD-19 or text MEDALS to 26786 today. That's 1-888-4GOLD-19 or text MEDALS to 26786 today to receive your free My Pillow and up to $20,000 in free silver.
You ever see this guy with the pillows on Fox? My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. He is the greatest. The My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
Roll. You all know Mike. He's absolutely amazing. Nobody has given up more than he has for election integrity. And so, Mike, take the floor, sir.
Well, thanks, and thanks, everybody. And I guess where to start. I'll give you the recent update. I just got back from Las Vegas, the event that was there. I spoke yesterday morning, and my speech was called Divine Intervention, and I went through about a 40-minute speech of how God has played a part in all of this and with all of our lives and to get to where we're at. And one of the things I focused on, was like you can look back and even in your own lives and say, boy, if this hadn't happened, we wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. And where we're at. And if we, and I've said it before many times, if Donald Trump, and I've even told the president this, I said, and now he even repeated it the other day, finally. But I told him this in 21, 22, 23. I've said it all along. I said, sir, if you would have got put back in on December 14th or January 6th or any time back there, we would have lost our country forever. That's a fact. There is no other. But you pull one card out, if they only steal one senator in January of 21, if they only steal one, we're not having this conversation. We lose our country pretty much forever. And you can say, well, that's subjective, Mike. Well, I'm telling you, we would not have had these last 4.5 years, which is where God's given us the grace and of the onion being opened up and everything getting revealed, and you're seeing the manifestation of all that now. And I told him what I said to the president last summer, and I probably told you guys this before, but last summer we were both sitting together, and he says, it was just him and I in his office, and he said, sir, he said, Mike, everything's getting destroyed. They're just destroying our country. And something else had just happened. I don't know what it was. And I said, sir, like I told you before, everything that's happening for bad is actually God's using for good. Remember, he uses all things for good for those who believe. And I told the president, I said, I gave him the 2-bucket thing. I've told you, I said, here's the bucket of common sense. I said, that's your bucket, sir. I said, once they jump into that bucket, I don't care if they're on the left, on the right, I don't care who they are, of the people. Once they jump in the bucket, you give them no reason to leave the bucket. Okay. There's absolutely been no reason. Once you're in it, there's very few people that have jumped out of Donald Trump's bucket. So it's like just overflowing. In fact, I even told him, these attacks keep coming and these bad things keep happening, you're going to end up with more votes than voters like Pennsylvania. And then he laughed. But he also, I said, the other bucket is that of God. And I said, sir, I said, the other thing is a nation had turned its back on God. And just like I said at the Rose Garden speech, and we took a God out of our schools and stuff. And I said, but people don't look to God when things are going good. it's when things are going bad. And I said, over these last 4 years, I said, so many people found the Lord, found Jesus Christ. And then he looked at me and he says, yeah, but things, you know, I don't know if we can fix it all in 4 years when I get in there. And I said, sir, with God working through you, you're going to get it done faster and better than anyone in history. And we're all seeing that now. And anyway, that was kind of my speech yesterday. But I'm going to give you guys updates of where everything's are at and what we're all fighting for, our secure elections. Everything. But by the way, the president and I we have been for 4 years. He wants exactly what everyone on this call wants. Paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, precinct level, voter ID. I met him now 4 different times since he's been at the White House, and that's not counting our calls and texts, which we don't usually do on the phone or on the by phone. We like to talk about these things in person with these election platforms, and he knows what's going on. And everything that we gave him for the last 4.5 years, we gave him a book about an inch thick. I know what Patrick Colbeck put together, and he I met with him 4 times on Tina Peters. And by the way, I met the lawyer while I was in Vegas for Tina Peters, the one she has currently, and he actually agrees with everything that I had brought to the president, and one of them being that we need to pull her out as a federal witness in the witness protection program. It was funny, I was telling that to someone and I forget who it was, in Vegas there, you guys would know the name. It was one of the speakers, I think. And they said, well, we don't want her in the federal witness protection program. She needs to be in the front lines. I'm going, she needs to get out of prison, period. She doesn't care where she lives. And I think she would need to be in the witness protection program. You can use her there as much as against Griswold as you can. And I think one of the things with the way that's moving, they served all the stuff in Colorado. They served, and by the way, Minnesota, Texas, California, that they keep asking for records from these states. And Colorado, I think, was the first one. And then I told their lawyers at the White House, I said, you need to get 2024 out of Colorado because they're not going to have anything for 2020 or 2022. Unless it's something that we've all gotten here, such as Mesa County images, which, by the way, everybody are posted on Lindell TV. They have been posted for a long, long time, along with Jeff O'Donnell's cast vote record, the Antrim County, Michigan report. Anytime you ever want to point someone, now there's no evidence, just have them point there and say, get yourself a nice cyber guy and have a ball. I think the last time I was there 2 times ago at the White House, I think what they're doing in order to pull you out in a federal witness, you got to have a case against somebody like Jenna Griswold. And I think they're getting all that done. Anyway, I'm going to be meeting with her attorney, the one that I met out there, and we're going to we're both on the same page and see if we can't expedite things that are going on out there. And I haven't heard lately directly anything other than talking to him in Vegas, but that's on that. And then I also I want to update you guys. You've all seen, in fact, in my show on Lindell TV today, I went off completely on Arkansas, some of these blockers, and in Arkansas and Sarah Sanders. It's disgusting when you make these elections, which the president, I think that's another route to take, just declared a national emergency. I was talking to, once again, people like General Flynn, stuff out in Vegas, and we were on, and there's a lot of great things that are going to be coming out over the next month here of things like that are going to be coming out, all about the stuff, all the work that everyone's done here on the call and over the last 4 years. But one of the things that the president can do is declare a national emergency with what's coming out with these machines, what we've all known and had for years and years and years now. And That's something he can do at least on the federal part of it. But there's a lot of things they're looking at, and I know in the White House, and they have not picked, I don't believe, the special prosecutor yet, or the task force. I know a lot of people have reached out to me and going, when's its task force? When's the task force? Right now, you guys are it. I mean, you're keep doing what you're doing, and everybody keep going what you're going, because it's all. I believe it's going to happen real fast. I think the president knows, and a lot, and I, I hear all the time, oh, he's got blockers by him. They're not listening. Oh, they're listening, and they know. The president knows 100%. Everything else he's doing now, nothing matters more important than getting rid of the electronic voting machines and securing our elections. Which everyone says, well, Mike, early voting and all this. If you eliminate the machines, you don't have computers with all these dirty voter rolls. You don't have all that stuff to contend with. So, and that doesn't mean getting paper ballots and counting them with tabulators. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, and it's from all different directions. Another thing that came up in Vegas was this lady asked me when I was on the panel with Roger Stone, Rudy Giuliani, and General Flynn, and the guy pointed the question at me, and he said, well, Mike, when are you going to release the PCAPs? When are you going to release the PCAPs from Dennis Montgomery? And well, I shot back and I said, well, by the way, I will give you an update on all that with the $5 million challenge that we won a couple of weeks ago. But here's what I said to him. I said, here's the deal. No, it's been brought to the White House, and I was questioned, a long question at the by lawyers and stuff to look into with the Dennis Montgomery with his protective order. Now they haven't signed it, the protective order, the stuff, and there's probably a reason for that. But that has not been signed, and I've been talking to Dennis. I talked to General Flynn. I talked to quite a few, and but here's the bottom line: is when you have mathematics and computers and everything that's stalled or manipulated, it's all the same, no matter what camera angle it is. So what I said to the guy, yeah, when you look at the spring of 21, that's all I had. And then things started unfolding, as everybody knows. You had the Tina Peters we actually had the image. You had the Antrim County, Michigan, where you actually had what went on inside there. There were things that sprouted up. You had the whole audit of Arizona, but boy, did they suppress that. You had the Yuba County investigation, which I did myself, a lot of that myself, flew into different states. And then you have all the data files that we got, the Dr. Frank evidence that they didn't let out in my trial in Colorado. That's all the algorithms that were used in every single state, okay? All of you guys is canvassing that came back with these anomalies, and this data. And then you had the cast vote records. It doesn't matter what camera angle. If you got to the end game, all the numbers, they match. They have to match. That's the way numbers work. You don't go 7-7 like watching a football game, 7-7, second quarter is 14-14, and third quarter is 21-3. Numbers don't go in reverse. We all know, everybody on this thing, and we're talking about computer manipulation. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit and tell, in the beginning, back in early 21, did I want the election overturned and we thought we'd save our country and save Donald Trump when I went to the White House on January 15th? Absolutely. 100% it's stole. That's your first thing. But there's a reason that all of our stuff wasn't revealed then, and everybody's stuff, because there was so much more to find, and more camera angles and more evidence and more of everything. And then to get the word out there about it all, to get where we're at to today, we're in the best spot we've ever been in right now. Even, you guys pull out one little card and say, well, gee, what if this would have happened or that would have happened? We all know that they stole 9 members of the House and 4 senators in the 2024 election, and people keep bringing me stuff going, hey, I've seen this happen. You know what? We've compiled evidence from here to the sun and back millions of times over. Now, I'm just telling you that the president's well aware of it. You're all well aware of it. And now we're under a timeline. We have to get rid of this before the midterms and before the primaries. And I think what I really believe is you're going to have, if things keep going the way they're going, and this is like falling into, it's all about marketing. Right now, so many things that Donald Trump has done that's been great. If you get into these primaries and these midterms, these deviations are going to stand out like a sore thumb, because the real voters that vote, when you say too big to rig, the polling that's going to be out there, polls are going to be very important in these midterms, and we're going to raise money for them. I'm going to raise all kinds of money for the polling, and there's a reason for that. You put the polls out, we have something that we didn't have back then. We have huge media platforms now, social media platforms like Lindell TV, which I want to tell you what old Mark Zuckerberg just did today, and we're going to be going after Facebook in a lawsuit that he's never seen coming. Along with the Facebook fact checkers, I believe. So this will be interesting. But anyway, when you talk about these polls and Donald Trump doing everything good, you're not going to see people out there. Sure, you're going to have of course, you're going to have the nonsensical left-wing nuts out there voting. But how do you sit when you're at home and things are going better in your life, if you're in the middle or here, or you're going to either not vote because it doesn't matter. Things are going well in your life. I think enough of them. And we have to sound the alarm, and we will, that, hey, everything being done right now will be in vain if they take back that house or steal that house back. It'll all be in vain. They'll just spend the time impeaching. People like me and a lot of others will probably be in a lot of danger of just getting arrested for breathing. So that's where that's at. So I believe we're in a really good place. And one of the things that came up, you look at all God's timing. Look what just happened, and this is on my side now. You guys all seen in Colorado where my pillow won. And now, did I lose? Well, here's the judge let the evidence of the $5 million challenge go in there that I had lost. Mike Lindell lost $5 million. Mike Lindell lost $5 million, which they said 2 years ago, you guys. This was, to remember, in 1 week, and I get it wrong every time, it's either April of 23, maybe someone can look this up. When did Fox News settle with Dominion? Does anybody on this call know what day that was? And it was in April of 22 or 23. Does anybody know that?
Say that again, Mike. April of 2023.
April of 2023. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys, in April of 2023. Remember, as we started getting more and more legs, and getting the word out by getting attacked all the time, all of us, and they're attacking, and the media's just hammering us, and there's no evidence. As we're finding evidence, and revealing more and more data, more and more canvassing is coming out. Here's what they did to shut everybody up in April of 23. On a Tuesday, they made the dirty deal with Dominion did with Fox News, $787 million. On a Wednesday, the very next day, the binding arbitration comes out. Mike Lindell loses $5 million. His evidence is no good. He's a liar. He's a tinfoil hat nut job. He's blah, blah, blah. On Friday of the same week, they fired Tucker. Why? Because I had already, by then, Tucker and he goes, Mike, I'm finally a believer. He had sat on a stage in Arizona and said, hey, we've got to get rid of the electronic voting machines. All three things happened in the same week. Now, what is that message to the country? You better not talk about voting machines. You better not talk about it, or you're going to get sued. You're going to get your business destroyed. And by the way, even if you looked into it, which they're very secure, Mike Lindell lied. His evidence is no good. He lost $5 million. So that all happened in 1 week. Well, then, I don't know if you all know this, but then I appealed it to district court because it was a complete sham, that binding arbitration. The lawyer for Zeidman, who wasn't even a real cyber guy, worked with Dennis Montgomery 6 years earlier or 7 years earlier. He knew it was all real. So anyway, you had that going on. But the lawyers, I really feel my lawyers blew it. They let the stuff be brought in that shouldn't have been brought in. It was nuts. And anyway, we bring it to district court, and the judge comes back in last November, and says, "Yep, there was stuff done wrong in the arbitration, but we're not going to overturn it." So my lawyers go, "Well, Mike, that's it." And I'm going, "What do you mean that's it?" I said, the truth is the truth. We're going to fight till you can't fight anymore. I said, "Is there any other options?" "Well, you could go to federal court, but that's a 1 in a million. It hasn't been done in 40 years. So we did. Okay. And we did this, and we get to court, and federal court, it was 3 weeks ago now, and you might have all seen it. Maybe you did, but it went to 58 countries, and they actually put out good pictures of me, and they actually reported the news. Mike Lindell's $5 million challenge was overturned. Now that evidence, now that they used in Colorado against me, now it gives us a new trial. So right now it's being appealed to the judge, but the judge is going to go, whatever. I don't know, maybe God will zap her and show her corrupt or horrible actions that she did in the trial. Will maybe she'll find the light. So then this gets us an automatic new trial, because we will fight, because I'm not paying 1 red cent. And with all the stuff that's going to be coming out, it should be just the other way around. They should be sued for millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's really good news on that. But here's the other part where it's good news. As we go on the ground over the next 3-4 months, when you see all the stuff coming out of Washington that's going to come out, and from the top down and from the bottom up, and let's just say that we get appointed to be, or a lot of us on the call to be a lot of you all get to be where you're on the ground and you're enforcing what Donald Trump, our great president, has put out there for his executive order, and whatever he adds to it. You have states like, we'll use Arkansas for an example again, disgusting. But we would be able to report that to this special prosecutor, and we're going to start calling people out like Sarah Sanders in Arkansas. I don't know if you'll know on this call, but what happened in Arkansas, I'm going to really go fast on that to not take all the time, but just a few short years ago, Arkansas, as we know, great Will Huffman and great Colonel Conrad, you all have your different states, but these guys are, they're focused on Arkansas, and they got it, found out almost every county, a lot of the counties in the country, most of them, you can just vote the machines out. And you can in Arkansas, it's pretty easy. Cleburne County did it. Boom, they voted them out. And as you all know, call them whatever you want. I call people like this traitors, and I get sued for it. But here comes traitor Kim Hammers of Arkansas, and he shoves a bill through. And then Sarah Sanders stamps it, and it says, if you're a county in Arkansas and you go to paper ballots, we're defunding your county. Or defunding all of the money they would get for their elections, to do their elections. I believe that's the proper term there. But they're defunded. You're defunded. The county's defunded for their elections, so you're on your own. Well, Cleburne says, bring back our machines. We're really sorry. And everyone else in Arkansas said, we're not going to do it. Not when you're going to defund us, except for one county. Searcy County says, you know what? We don't care. We're going to do it anyway. We don't need your money. We're going to go have a great election. And they did in 2024, a small county in Arkansas. And what did they get for it? Sarah Sanders and her thugs come after them and say, you guys didn't spend enough money on the election. You can't make this up. They rented cameras for like $100, small county, so that everyone was very transparent. A beautiful election pulled off. It got done the same time as the machines with 100% accuracy. But they come after them for that. And they say, you can't be involved in elections for 14 years. If you'll sign off now, we won't even talk about it. And they said no, because they want to save our country. And they just ruled last week they can keep on working but I don't know what else they gave him. But they definitely said you broke a law by saving the county all this money, and you didn't spend enough money. And it kind of they tried to use the Suckabuck thing in Wisconsin, where old Mark Suckabuck went around and bought all the drop boxes and did all that, but that was okay, you know. Or it'd be like you know, any of us coming in and saying, here's free paper. I guess you could call it political, but I don't believe that's political. That's just that's all people, all of us. But anyway, the bottom line is Sarah Sanders, even the president said to her, "Isn't that right, Sarah?" When he talked to all the governors when I was at the White House, and he told them all, he says, "We got to get to paper ballots and county. Isn't that right, Sarah?" "Oh, yes, Mr. President." Liar. She's a liar. I mean, she had no intention of doing anything. But right now, as we move forward within her quest to get rid of these machines, like 132 other countries, now they can't point to that $5 million challenge, at least for me, and say, Mike Lindell, that is no good. Grouping in the only thing we had then that was under protective order, but it was data from the 2020 election. So just like the case in Colorado, they tried to put everything in one basket when we have so much more since then. Like I said, we have evidence. You guys have done this. We have data. We have evidence. We don't need any more evidence. We need people to listen. And we did. We have a great president that has listened, and it's going to be done. It's going to be amazing. So that's where we're at really on the election stuff. I'm very encouraged. I do want to tell you that this happened today, though. One of the things we have that we didn't have back in 21, and I've said this many times to all of you, how important January 7th and 8th is of January 21, where they tried to kill our voice forever. 1.2 million Americans deplatformed, Zuckerberg, Facebook, deplatforming Dorsey's crooked Twitter, and Vimeo, YouTube, everybody canceled. If you talked about Jesus, the elections, or against the vaccines, you were done. So, and then the other ones were too afraid to talk. And I've used the analogy before. Our voice went down to just like a little black and white TV from when I was growing up to a little tiny dot. You turn the TV back on, it comes all back to life before that dot went out. And that dot was our voice. And that's what we have now. And that's now, this just happened today. As that voice, this was the birth of Lindell TV back then too, in the spring of 21. And I knew right then, if I didn't have the attack media attacking me, because we lost Fox News, Newsmax, and Salem Media when Smartmatic sued Fox News on February 4th of 2021, which started the lawfare. So you took conservative media out of the equation, and then you had the attack media. Well, the attack media, when we put out Absolute Proof on February 5th of 2021, they didn't attack me. We went to the Wayback Machine. I've been doing that, everybody. We've been getting all kinds of stuff from back in the day. Nobody said anything after February 5th. The media was completely silent on me. And the only way I got to be back in the media is I told Dominion to sue me, and they finally did. I was only doing it. I wanted to get the media and put the evidence in there, and we solved this problem. But here's what happened. So back then, we pulled up things from back then where the movies, everything, the Facebook fact checkers covered things up and it said false information. On the movie Absolute Proof, it even said contains nudity and porn. And this was done by a guy named Alan Duke with Lead Stories. He was the Facebook fact checker. Then he had 4 employees. Alan and I actually became kind of indirect friends over the years, right? And he's also the one we gave the Mesa County image to. And I said, you could be a hero, Alan, instead of what you've been doing to our country by suppressing everything. And he looked at the Mesa County image. The cyber guy said, yep, it's good. This is right. And I said, okay, tell the world. And he goes, Mike, we only fact check stuff that's bad and not stuff that's good, and which was disgusting. And but anyway, here's what happened today. So you fast forward now, 3 years, and we've got all these platforms: Getter, Gab, True Social, Vocal, Lindell TV. We've got all these different platforms now, so our voice has expanded so big. Well, just today, Patrick Colbeck, everybody, put up a post exactly saying this. It was a very simple post. If you guys get a chance, go to my Twitter. I want you all to reshare it. Everybody share this, and I'm going to tell you why. He put this post up, and all he did was put a link to Lindell TV, and Facebook put a cover over it and says contains false information. Now Lindell TV is a publicly traded company. What they did by covering that up is so it will be a huge lawsuit. I've been on the phone today with lawyers. I don't care. We're not putting up with this time around, where you're going to suppress a whole platform and suppress our voice. So we talked to the SEC lawyers today. I talked to many other lawyers, and this is going to be very big. I also talked to Alan Duke. It turns out Alan Duke, the fact checker at Facebook, got fired. They got fired. All the fact checkers, everybody got fired. There are 3 groups of them for places I can't stand, like Washington Post, I think is one, or New York Times. I don't know. Alan was telling me. So when they got fired, what do you think they're getting replaced with? Exactly what I told you all 4 years ago when I said, hey, if we don't have real elections, people elected instead of selected, who's going to regulate artificial intelligence when this gets going, which is here now faster than anything we could imagine. Well, artificial intelligence, when I called up Alan Duke, he goes, they've taken our jobs or whatever they're doing at Facebook. He said, they've got something out for you. And Alan Duke said, by them covering up Lindell TV today, it even makes their job as Facebook fact checkers, as fact checkers, not Facebook now, they work for other companies. It makes them look bad because they're covering up a whole network. So we might have, wouldn't this make for good headlines? Alan Duke, the former Facebook fact checkers, and Lindell TV sue Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, and Facebook for the First Amendment right of free speech and what he's done. You talk about defamation when you say a publicly traded company is now spewing out false information. He went too far, and I've been waiting to do something with Zuckerberg for a long time. You guys, we have so much on it, but this was like the last thing that came down, and we're not going to let it happen this time around. Before the 2020 election, I could not do a My Pillow ad on Facebook with my image in it. We had to strip 1 month before we got a notice, no My Pillow ads with Mike Lindell. So all my commercials, any of my ads on Facebook, you had just a floating pillow. No, we didn't. We just redid them, but you didn't have me in the image, okay? I mean, it was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And when he went down to Mar-a-Lago and gave money to the president and said, yeah, here's $10 million. And in fact, the president asked me, he goes, you think Zuckerberg's changed his ways? I said, absolutely not. He's just that's all a lie. Everything is put in. If you see the comments when you go to Twitter and reshare it, read those comments. This is what old Mark Zuckerberg wanted you all to believe, that he wasn't going to cover things up or suppress anything. He's been suppressing Lindell TV like you wouldn't believe, because we have a White House correspondent, we have one at Capitol Hill, and we're gaining huge traction. And also with Vocal, you guys, you got to get involved. Yeah, I know that most of you are. You got to get on Vocal, but it's going to come down to calling these bad politicians out and getting as many places with paper ballots as we can, so that, and then Donald Trump doing the best he's doing right now, so that you call it, we say too big to rig, we're going to say too many preventatives put in, that if they do steal it, then they're going to have to be very blatant about it. And then what I believe would happen is everyone in the country, including Washington, would say, let's open up these machines. And then the president can say, finally, we're going to recycle. For all you windmill people, we're going to melt down the machines and turn them into prison bars. But the only bad thing is right now, we're probably, the way it's looking, as you see things happening in Washington and stuff being revealed, we might not have enough voting machines to melt down for all the prisoners that we're going to have. So anyway, that's where it's at. So I can take questions now, but we'll go from there. That's my opening monologue.
Well, it looks like you answered a couple of questions that people already had for you, so there's no need to re-go over that. But it's so exciting. I agree. It's so exciting to see what's coming up and what's been going on, and I'm excited to see what happens the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty amazing, everybody. The stuff that I know is coming out, and I keep the stuff I know personally, but then there's also stuff I'm hearing from different sources, and a lot of it's completely different. I'm going, like I say, they all are going to show the same things: corrupt computers and corrupt elections, and the machine's got to go. But it's so many different angles. It's actually very cool. And for me to be questioned about the original evidence of mine, which was Dennis Montgomery's, I thought that was very interesting, and it's very real. We have people that I'm not going to say, but there's people that are might be even on this call, for sure, that you guys would know the name, and it was been reported that inside the FBI they have those 47 hard drives of Dennis Montgomery's, and what I might do is I might even have interview him, so it's at least it's forever. There's so many things that I'm doing, going back in time to get things archived, or at least there, as we've come this far, and I don't know what could ever happen, but just to have a historical record of things. So that's what I'm also doing now. But we've got, obviously we want to be proactive and not just reactive, but we are being proactive now. We come into a great space.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like we have a question from Mart Klaus in Denver. So let's see if we can. Mart, you just need to unmute your microphone. Mart? Looks like you might be having some trouble with his microphone.
Here, I know what he was going to ask. No, just kidding. We've just been asked by you guys. This is kind of breaking news. The president's going to Alaska, and he's reaching out to all the media groups, and including Lindell TV, to get in the press pool for that, the press corps travel. So that's pretty cool. We did get Lindell TV. As of last week, we got approved now finally to be in the White House press pool. We were getting there off and on once in a while, and when we are, and when the president's around, Kara is very aggressive, and she's gotten in so many questions. And when they go viral. And I thank you all out there for sharing them. If one of the things you can all do on this call is share. Either go to Lindell TV and share that on, I don't care what platform you're on. I don't Get or Gab, Telegram, whatever it is, share whatever's on Lindell TV. But, did you get the question yet?
It looks
Yeah,
like
can you
Mark
hear
is
me?
able. There we go. Yep.
Ah,
Go
okay.
ahead.
Mike, I've been researching Eric for Colorado, and I came across a piece of information that I don't really want to share publicly. I would really like to have maybe some time with Amy, and I can mention it. Basically, what it does is it just changes Tina's case. It removes it from being state and it takes it to federal. And this involves the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm getting an echo.
Yeah,
Hello,
that's from
hello.
Mart. If you want to email us at info@causeofamerica.org, we can try and get you connected. So
Yeah, get him. I have someone to connect him to, or otherwise.
Let me. I'll take care of it, Mike. Hey, do me a favor. Yeah, we're gonna give you a Proton mail address to send it to, and not to the info. Okay, so just send us your email, and then I will follow up. Send it. Just mention the call. I'll connect you to the attorneys.
That might be a real good thing, Sean. Get that, and then get it, because I'm in direct contact with Tina's main attorney now, her new one, I guess. I don't know how many she's had now, and then also with the White House. So, if it is something, we'll, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, you look through 100 things and one of them turns out to be good. It's worth every single time looking, and you all know that. So this could be good.
Can I say something else really quick? Just Mike, you said something earlier that was so important. You know, everybody's waiting. We're hoping that we're going to see a task force, that we're going to see more investigations. We've seen a few things come out, but it makes me think of every time I've had to do first aid, you know, rescue breathing or CPR. Longest I ever had to do it was 45 minutes. And the thing you learn is you do it until somebody takes over from you.
That's right.
If you're putting pressure on a wound, you do it until somebody takes over. If you're doing CPR, you do it. And so the federal government has not yet taken over. We're seeing some action finally, but don't let up.
Yeah,
don't let up.
Amen, Sean. I'm glad you read it. That's what I said to you all. You are the task force. You know what I said when they asked me in Vegas? I said, there is only one hub of the wheel of this whole country, and it's you guys. It's everyone on this call. It's us. There is no other. They're all connected to us. We are the hub. This is what it's done. And you can name anything going on, going back in time to what that's being done now is because we all got together as one big family. And like Sean says, do not stop. Just keep going forward, and don't think that what you're doing in some little precinct in I don't care where it is, upwards, northern Maine, or I just had one guy from Oregon in Vegas going, you know, we feel like the forgotten ones. Mike, you were out there, whatever it was, a year and a half ago, whatever. And I said, nobody's forgot about you. You guys got to keep going yourself. You keep going. And then, you know how many times people say to me, why are you worried about Arkansas? Why aren't you worried about the swing states? Those people don't get it. If any breakthrough any one of us makes on this call, or any breakthrough, that's one step forward for the whole country, for all of us. You look at the fights we got out in California, we had big breakthroughs, and then they shut the door because they were onto us and just changed the laws on the spot. This is all, every single thing is not, everyone's important. It doesn't matter how big the state, the county, the precinct, and just keep on doing what you're doing. In fact, you know what I say? This timing is critical. This is just like before the 2024 election. This is probably more important. You don't think they're going to throw everything they have at this? Now, it was interesting. Someone did say to me, they go, Mike, I don't believe that. And this was everybody was a strategist out in Vegas, let me tell you, at that convention. And they're going, let me tell you, Mike, they're not going to do that. They're going to put everything into 2028. I go, oh, you think so, huh? I said, if I'm their marketer, I ain't waiting until 2028. By then, this president can have everything so good. There's people that won't flip, even if you told them that they were still a liberal or someone on the left. You know, they can't let that wait that long, because everything that they're the ones backed in a corner now. They're going to make their move now. They have to. They don't have a choice. I mean, you guys think about this. I mean, if you're their marketer, why do you think they didn't steal the 2024 election from the president? Because of all of you and all of us. Everybody was educated on the machines got to go, and then we need to go to paper. Nobody trusts the election. Too big to ring. All this stuff thrown out there. But the polling showed that Donald Trump would win, and he would win big. And even when they did that stupid early voting, which is only going to work once, the polling in the early voting showed the places Republicans outbid the Democrats. So then they would have had to steal on game day and completely flip it and make it so obvious. If they would have done that, if just like China virus 2.0, you think we'd all done stupid thing like wear masks if they'd have gave us that? No. If they'd have gave us election crime 2.0, and they would have stole the 2024 election, this country would have said, melt them down, open them up. It wouldn't have been just us demanding that. The whole country would, and they knew that. They knew that. So I believe they backed off on that. They still stole 6, 7, 8 million votes from Donald Trump, because if you make it too big of a landslide, then the next time you're never going to believe that they could even come back and win when you turn the whole country to the real numbers. Remember, everybody, when we went through Florida, and we did the Caspo records in Florida. That's the only, we finally had a place where there was no computer manipulation. And we extrapolated them across this country. This country is 68% red if you don't have machines, if you have fair elections, paper ballots, hand counted. This is where we're at. So they couldn't do that. So what would evil do? And then they go, well, I do exactly what they did. Let's let Donald Trump wins. Let's let Donald Trump win. We're not going to steal it all. We're gonna skim off the top like you do at a casino when the mafia used to skim, and they still probably do. But we're gonna steal. We got to steal some congressmen. They took 9 that we know of and 4 senators. Now, why would they do that? Because you got to keep it kind of close. So when you go into stealing in this next election in 2026, then everyone just goes, that's weird. How could this happen? You guys see the anomalies in the 2024 election? There are so many impossibilities in that election. It's disgusting, you know. And this is what I do every time I go to the White House and show them, going, hey, you guys, this is the last time I was there. I showed a whole team of people there. These were stole. These senators, these congressmen. Some of them didn't even come into I think December when they finally got done counting. Every time it kept getting closer. And the winner is Joe Democrat by 5 votes. What a miracle. We counted for 2 months. And we counted so many times, you wouldn't believe it. Well, who counted them? Well, we had machines, but we had to have a machine count for a machine count for a machine. Then we did a hand count, but we couldn't find the paper, so we had a machine count the paper that was missing. I mean, it's disgusting. So this is where we're at, and they're going to go for it now. So I guess that's a long answer to a question. Don't let up. Instead, turn it up. Turn it up. I mean, there were many people in Vegas that were there going, well, what can we do? I said, join the cause of America. Get over on Vocal and get involved. And, don't just sit back and go, these guys are out there, you're sitting back going, oh, Donald Trump's in power. It's all good. He's got this. Look, he's taking care of everything. He needs all of us. We're the ones that brought him all the stuff, the data. Every single thing that went in that White House, we uncovered it long before they're going to come out with it. You guys, we've been doing this for years now. And, you know what? And another thing too, people come to me, isn't that upsetting to you, Mike, that they're coming out with this when we're the ones that did this and set this up? We don't need the glory. Give God the glory. We want to save our country. Who cares who gets the glory for saving it? They're going, well, Mike, why doesn't the president have you out there, at the White House and, showing everybody, look what great thing Mike did. No, that we all did. You guys, I talked to the president. We're very blessed to have the president right here with us. I have his ear like no other where we talk. We don't sit there and go, why do you think for the last 3 years in the media had 2 forces? Every day he's saying paper ballots, hand counted. I'm saying melt down the machines. We're both saying the same thing. You guys, you get it? We were in lockstep the whole way. So don't anyone ever worry about that, because I get comments like that all the time. Mike, he's not giving us any credit or calling out our names. You know what, you guys, we don't need that. We just need to win. We need to save our country, save the American dream, and get people during this time that get their eyes open and save our country and use this time for the greatest revival for Jesus Christ in history. There's it.
Might have been better if they did steal 2024. Then we would have been able to show the evidence now, huh?
That's it. No, I did to you guys. I did say this to the president. You guys will get a kick out of this. I did tell him, I said, sir, either way we win. If they steal it from you, it's going to be so blatant. That'll probably be the fastest way to get rid of the voting machines. And he goes, no, we're going to do it the other way. He goes,
darn.
Mike, I like the other way better. So, yeah.
You ever see this guy with the pillows on Fox? My pillow guy, Mike Lindell. He is the greatest. The My Pillow guy. Mike Lindell. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
everybody. Kara Castronova here in front of the White House with Benny Johnson, who was visiting, and he was the new media seat today in the briefing room, so congratulations with that. And you were able to talk a little bit about your story and how you were attacked here in D.C. And the crime rate. Can you talk a little bit more about that and why you think federalizing the government is so important?
Yep, absolutely. On a daily basis, we were attacked in the streets of D.C. in my neighborhood. I lived here for 15 years on Capitol Hill. It wasn't a particularly bad neighborhood. There were members of Congress and senators on my block. There were ambassadors. Our car was broken into on a near daily basis. We were robbed. I have murders on my Ring doorbell camera. I have mass shootings on my Ring doorbell camera. My house was burned to the ground with my infant child inside, and they had to be rescued. My child had to be rescued, and we fled. We are getting the F out of here. F this. We just left, and thank God we're in Florida now, and we're very happy about it. But no parent should have to endure that. When D.C. defunded their police, like, truly chaos ensued. But it was bad before. It was really bad after. And this is not a real place. Like, this is a place that is a federal city. It should be run by the federal government, accountable to the people. And President Trump taking this Capitol over is very important for one very specific reason. Americans built this country, and Americans don't feel like they can bring their children to the nation's capital safely. Americans don't feel like they could live here safely. How is President Trump supposed to have staff here if they don't want to bring their families here, if they don't want to live here? If good people don't want to come here and be members of Congress because they're fearful they're going to die, then the entire system is going to collapse. So you have to secure D.C. to secure America's future.
I agree. I have friends that don't even want to visit me here because they're afraid to come visit me. Do you think that President Trump will try to move to make D.C. a sanctuary city if he continues to take away sanctuary city status? A lot of people are asking that question, if he's able to federalize D.C.
Oh, D.C. sanctuary cities should be illegal, and everybody who does them should be put in prison immediately, right, for human trafficking. So obviously, yeah, yes, obviously. It cannot be emphasized enough that D.C. is a failed state. It doesn't work. Home rule was a mistake, and it has caused horrors for the people that live here who are black. May I say this very clearly into the camera? The vast majority of people who live in the city who are victims of crime are black people. And so if you're going to say Black Lives Matter, if you're going to paint that on the damn road, then you might as well, enforce laws and put criminals away. But they don't actually believe that, and so that's a real problem for them. I believe that. I believe all lives matter, and so therefore I want D.C. to be safe for all Americans.
I like the way that you called out the reporters in the room. That's something I've always wanted to do, so a lot of props for that, saying to any reporter here. There are a lot of reporters out there saying that D.C. is safe and the crime rate is going down, and while that might somewhat be true, the crime rate is still horrific here in D.C. It's comparable to a third world country with the murder rate.
You want to hear this, Lindell TV? Let me tell you a little something, Kara. They told me, I'm not going to say who, they told me backstage, they're like, all these reporters come in here, and they're always bitching about how dangerous it is here. All these left-wing reporters are always saying, something terrible happened to them or their friend, or they can't go out for a drink anymore because there's too many gangbangers around and it's too dangerous. And they'll come out and they'll, have to read the lines about how safe D.C. is, but behind the scenes, they're all liars and they know it. It must be terrible to live like that.
It must be. Last quick question.
Let's face it, you can't trust